Okay, easy. Boxing, the sweet science. I think it was Confucius that said that, right? What? Probably not. MMA and boxing has been around since the dawn of time. I'm pretty sure Copernicus used it as coordinates in the sky. There was like constellations of like two guys boxing, and they're like, "Come get me, bro." Is any of that right?
I think so. I think they had a belt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a belt.
A dipper.
We're all winners here. Here at the Pembroke Boxing Club, we have programs for all skill sets and all ages. Come on down. You're gonna love it here. I'm Wade Barris. We're at the Pembroke Boxing Club in Pembroke, Ontario. And this is Indie Business. Okay, let's see what you got. Hi, man. Okay. Let's hit the showers.
Only the road you chose to go.
Great, now I'm gonna get more hate mail from all those Copernicus fan pages out there. They're gonna be all like, "You don't know anything about constellations." And they, of course, would be correct. Now let's get to the interview. I'm here with Jason Burgoyne at the Pembroke Boxing Club. Jason, thank you for joining us. Now, you spent years in the Canadian military. You've had an exclusive career in MMA, traveled the world, learning disciplines. What led you to open up the Pembroke Boxing Club in 2016?
Honestly, I've been involved with martial arts my entire life. I studied Aikido and Kung Fu when I was younger. When I joined the military is when I kind of got a real bird's eye view of what fighting actually is. And I decided that I wanted to learn more about it. I got into kickboxing and into boxing, deep into jiu-jitsu, and had my own very low-level career in, I want to say, kind of underground MMA stuff. It wasn't fully legal at the time.
Well, it would have been a time that it would have been literally underground. It would have been different than what people would see nowadays, right, with the big productions and the budgets of MMA and everything sanctioned. This would have been people that just really wanted to test their abilities.
Right, and it was legal only because they were doing it on Indian reserves, but it wasn't very well organized. It wasn't exactly what you'd see today. It was a little sketchy. But it is what it was. What it was. When I got released from the military, instead of sitting around not knowing what to do, which I also did, I got into boxing under a friend, and when he decided that was it for him, my wife pushed me very heavily to go into like a brick and mortar, because he had just kind of an ad hoc class that he'd take to other people's spaces, and it was nerve-wracking. But we opened it up, and this has been my post-military hobby, a way to keep myself out of my wife's hair ever since.
And all these years, you still love it.
Oh my God, best decision ever made.
That's good to hear. Now, Jason, you opened up Pembroke Boxing Club in 2016. Just kind of walk me through the feelings kind of leading up to that. I understand it would have been a stressful situation of opening up this brick and mortar, this beautiful facility in Pembroke. Just kind of walk me through the emotions that you might have been feeling leading up to that.
Well, there's a bit of a backstory. I had my wife has some friends in California. They were her high school friends, and her husband, his name is PJ. He's a director, a movie director in California. Said to me once, he said, "The best advice I'm ever going to give you." This is around when I was retiring. His best advice I could ever give any other person is to say, "Don't ever work for somebody else. Always work for yourself, and you'll never be unhappy a day in your life." And I took it to heart. And when it came time to do this, I did have that motivation, but I was still nervous. Everybody's nervous when you're putting a lot of money into something. You want to open it up. My wife pushed me forward, and we opened it up. It was very nerve-wracking because of before all I had to do was come up with $300 a month, paying for somebody else's space. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Whereas here, you've got responsibilities, you're on lease. So I was freaking out a little bit. But I mean, every time that my wife has said move forward and expand, it's worked. Mm-hmm. So I've learned to shut my mouth and just do what my wife tells me to do. Yeah, she's almost always right in this one.
That's a good rule in life. You just listen to your spouse. But yeah, it would have been tough, but like you kind of have to have that blind faith of knowing that it's going to work out. And you said it, whenever you're working for yourself, that's once you could kind of establish that, everything else seems like it wasn't worth it. That's working for yourself is something that, hope everybody could experience if that's what they're looking for. Now, Jason, you opened up in 2016. We all know that there's the global pandemic in 2020. Now, what challenges did you guys have to face? Having a business that people would have to be in close proximity, I'm sure that you guys were shut down to start. Now, what was some of the issues that you guys faced? What was some of the repercussions that after that you guys had to adapt to have a boxing club?
Well, it was an unfortunate time. Just after my wife had pushed me forward to come to this place. And it's a gorgeous place. I love the building. It's a beautiful building. But within a week after we signed the lease, COVID hit and they shut everybody down. It was very difficult financially because we had some money set aside, but then you run out pretty quickly when you've got zero ability to. So we moved to a little bit of online, work. Whenever we could, we would get together in the park beside us, and we'd do outdoor stuff where we were observing social distancing and we're outside. But a large portion of why we survived was our ladies' class. They decided to continue to pay their dues, whether they were here or not, just to keep us afloat. They all kind of said, if we don't do this, we're not going to have it when COVID's done. And they kept us afloat. The extra money we got from that is what kept us afloat.
That's responsible of them to see the big picture. So I was under the impression that you've been in this facility since 2016, but
No.
It was, what, 2019 or 2020?
2019.
2019. So you just opened up this facility, you just want to hit the ground running, and all of a sudden you have a major roadblock that shuts you right down. I couldn't imagine.
It was wild. We actually, my son and I were on the way to Barbados. We were in Ottawa waiting for the plane, and then COVID came in and shut us down. Where Boxing Canada would no longer sanction us going to compete in Barbados. And we got that message at 1:00 in the morning, and then like a week later got the message that everything was shut down. So it was a scary time, that's for sure.
And what was kind of put in place when you guys were able to reopen? Was social distancing a factor, which wouldn't make any sense for any martial arts classes?
We had to run through quite a bit of hoops, but Boxing Ontario was on the leading edge of getting businesses back open again. They were really good. We were the first martial art organization to get back to training, and because they led the way in how to do it. So there was still some social distancing. They expected us to draw down on the floor. Everybody had their own little 6 foot. So we had to do everything by imitation. There wasn't, at some point they allowed us to train with masks, which of course is incredibly uncomfortable. So whenever we could train without them, we'd have the doors open, and as long as you're observing the social distancing, we'd do it. But it made for some challenging times. But when you want to stay open, you gotta do what you gotta do. Jump through the hoops you gotta jump through.
Now, did you see any impact of having customers come once everything was lifted? Did you see an impact on your business after that of people slowly coming back?
It was definitely slowly coming back. I mean, certainly some people came back all at once. They'd been dying to get outside, as were a lot of us. But it changed the way that people entertain themselves. It changed the way that people get fit. It changed that people have home gyms now. People, there's a lot of movement where people will they study things on YouTube, which is, of course, counterproductive, but they don't know that. People don't go out and buy things; they get things on Amazon. It's certainly changed the paradigm for a lot of people. We're slowly getting back to normalcy around now.
Yeah, it would even change kind of a place like this. Like if you were to be selling different merchandise, you're going to have options for people to buy it here, but they're still buying it online, which obviously hurts your business. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. We've interviewed a bunch of different businesses, and the question is always, how did the COVID-19 pandemic impact you? And this would be the one that I would see clear cut. Everything comes to a halt type of thing. So it's very difficult to teach courses online, you know?
It was a devastating number that came out of it. 20% of boxing clubs in Ontario shut down.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, a lot of friends of mine, a lot of friends had to shut down their gyms. They just had no other. So, I mean, a lot of the coaches found new homes, but it was a shame to see gyms that you'd seen for 50 years shut down.
Yeah. So all those people that's listening, that's doing their online sparring, go to the boxing clubs, okay?
Can't teach yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So Jason, you've been here since 2016. Tell me how the community has embraced Pembroke Boxing Club.
Honestly, the community has been fantastic to us. We've had a lot of success with our kids program, especially lately. We've had so much interest with the kids program that we've opened it up to a second one where we now have a competitive kids program. And that's, again, one of the best decisions I ever made with Pembroke Boxing. They're so much fun. And the kids and the parents are so engaged, it's fantastic. I mean, we had our kids sparring this morning. So rewarding to do that. We've had a chance to do a lot of different charity work. We work a lot. We've worked with Family and Children's Services quite a bit, with the Bernadette House. We've worked with the Irving Center. We've had a lot of good luck working with a lot of different charities. We run our Rumble in the Jungle, Rumble in the Valley.
And what's that?
Twice a year. That's our big boxing event that we run here twice a year. We've not done it in a little bit because of COVID, but we'll be starting back up again in June. And a portion of that always goes to either Soldier On or another charity that we decide. I think this year we're doing Duchenne's because a good friend of mine his kids have Duchenne's, so I think we're going to lean into that one this year. But it's been really good. The community comes forward. I mean, when we do these events, we're a volunteer club. Nobody here gets paid. So when we have these events, we have the community comes forward. We have the community volunteer to do our security. We have volunteers to help us at the front door. Like, really, it helps us run everything for a relatively low cost, so all the money can go back into the club and to the members. So, and like I say, our ladies kept us in business. So I think the community's been fantastic for us here.
Yeah, that's always great to hear. Whenever a community reaches out and embraces you like that, that's fantastic. Great charities. Look forward to the Rumble in the Valley, June?
June 21st.
Yeah, June 21st. So Jason, what does the future hold for the Pembroke Boxing Club? And tell me about some of your packages and some of the stuff that you offer here at the club.
So we have a full gym downstairs, our full weight room downstairs. There's no windows to the outside, so we call it the dungeon. We have jiu-jitsu and wrestling in the grappling room, our competitive boxing here. Everything together is, of course, our MMA package. We're hoping in the coming years we're going to start running 4 shows a year instead of just 2. We'll have 2 big rumbles and 2 smaller fight nights. It exposes our fighters to more opportunities and gets other fighters in from other towns. We want to try and use our time, our mat space when it's not being used, to bring in more classes. I'd like to bring in classes, fitness classes for moms in the middle of the day. I want to bring in women's self-defense classes. So we'd like to expand. We'd like to get bigger in scope as well as just the customer base. But I think we're on a pretty good path to do it. Like I say, the women's self-defense is probably our next big one. We want to start running summer camps for kids, March break camps for kids. So we'll get more. We're just going to get busier.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot coming up.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, though. Now, Jason, the last part of what we do at Indie Business is I ask if I could perform a few songs at your business. Are you cool with that?
I think that's brilliant.
Let's do it then.
All right.
The river hides reflections of these full moon sins. Gold fall air, sobering like the state we're in, doesn't quite add up, but the vengeance, that's enough. show we paid. What comes first, the pencil or the blade? 30,000 critics, I can speak without lips. First one to stand up is the first one to get hit. Blinding lights of the muzzle flash, that's nothing new to me. Realize that behind these eyes there's some things I can't unsee. Keep digging those shallow holes as nothing sets me free. Make sure you save 2 plots, that's a one for you and me. Lock my stable, lock my family name. Truth would have it, there's no one around to blame. The raw hands of vengeance ride a horse with a name. Early dawnlight rising, there's no one around to save. Blinding lights of the muzzle flash, that's nothing new to me. Realize that behind these eyes there's some things I can't unsee. Keep digging those shallow holes as nothing sets me free. Make sure you save 2 plots, that's a one for you and me. Live by the gun, erasing memories. I got the feeling this life will catch up to me. Blinding lights of the muzzle flash, that's nothing new to me. Realize that behind these eyes there's some things I can't unsee. Keep digging those shallow holes as nothing sets me free. Make sure to save 2 plots, that's a one for you and me. They all beg for mercy. We beg both you and I. Follow those lanterns that sprout up along the old fence line. Ghosts aren't there to be forgiven. We need to keep that in mind. We both chose not to listen. Guess this is an eye for an eye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks to Jason Burgoyne at the Pembroke Boxing Club for letting Aydyn and I profile his small business. If you want to see more content just like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm Wade Barris. This has been Indie Business, and remember, always support the little guy.